back, set back. Set back, set back.
Right, I think we're all here. A few stragglers coming down. Right, good morning everyone. Thank you for coming along. Won't keep you too long. I'm just the compere. My name's Gary Heelis, Chairman of the 125 group. Thank you for coming along to our little shindig today, which kind of puts a full stop on the 40th anniversary celebrations for the HST. Very many thanks to East Midlands Trains for lending us a couple of power cars and coaches for the day. We've got a little unveiling to do on the side of 48 to properly unveil the plaque on the side of it. But before we do so, got some people who'd like to say a few words, and I think I'll start with Tim Shoveler.
Well, at least that means that everyone can come after me, and therefore I won't duplicate what I said. Yeah, I just will say a few words then. So, well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to bring the rake here today and raise good money for the Railway Children, great charity, celebrate the end of the 40th anniversary of HST. I'm sure 50 will be knocking on before too long, and I'm sure they'll be whizzing up and down many a main line. It's right just to sort of take a moment to I think reflect on what's been achieved. It was 2 years ago since the first set was brought down here, and we brought an East Midlands set to run in multiple with the prototype, and it was a wonderful day. And here we are 2 years later, another wonderful day. This time with 3 coaches that have been acquired and are in great condition and look so fantastic in the same livery as the prototype power car. So I think we really have to be very impressed with the amount of time I know that all on a voluntary basis has been put in to preserving this really important part of our railway heritage. I'm delighted to say that I've had my shunting competence revalidated this morning, and Mark Conan will tell us how many we got out of 10. But on the basis of the set that didn't fall apart when we moved away, that's something I've taken some encouragement from. But so thank you very much for the opportunity to bring the set down here today and to continue the partnership that started back with the work at Neville Hill Depot all those years ago. And my congratulations to everyone involved in the 125 group for what is a really significant achievement. The only challenge, I'm afraid, is you might have to wait a wee bit longer before any mainline sets are ready to go into preservation, but let's take that as a good thing. So, congratulations.
Lovely, thank you very much, Tim. So next, I'd like to invite Chris Wright, who's the Engineering Director at East Midlands Trains.
Well, good morning everybody. What a pleasure it is to see so many people here this morning. I need to start with our mission actually, which is I've never known life without the HSTs. I think the last HST power car rolled off the production line in the year I was born, so I've literally, all I know about intercity trains is the HSTs. And following on from that, my career has actually intersected with the HSTs throughout, including my first job on the railways at Interfleet, when I was part of redesigning a compressor control circuit for First Great Western power car. And then I've also worked on East Coast power cars, Grand Central power cars, and cross-country power cars. And up until earlier this year, the only one I hadn't worked on actually was the EMT power car, so now I've managed to add that to the collection as well. But of course in my role I'm responsible for more than just the HST sets. We've also got a wider fleet than that. But I have to say the one fleet which gives me least problems and keeps me awake the least is the HSTs. Certainly the others keep me on my toes a lot more. That's not to say they never go wrong though, and only a couple of weeks into my job at East Midlands Trains, we had an HST set sit down across Attenborough Junction in the evening peak. So we scrambled the fitters from Etches Park out to Attenborough, and they managed to effect a repair on a fractured air pipe using a 5p piece and some tape. And you try doing that on a Meridian. It's not going to happen. So it makes me very proud actually that as East Midlands Trains we're able to support the day today. Our local communities are extremely important to us, and the Great Central Railway runs right through many of our local communities, so it's really great that we're able to support this. And of course, as Tim said, we're also supporting the Railway Children charity, so I hope you're all able to support that today. They do such great work for vulnerable children throughout the world, so please support that. And also I think today Days like today are great for families as well. I'm here with my family, but with my son and my nephew as well, who have both already really enjoyed sitting on the power car and sitting in the driving seat. So I think it's a fantastic day today, and I hope everybody enjoys it as much as we do, celebrating 40 years of the HSTs. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'll have to have words with you about that compressor mod. Right, next, a man who has been involved with the HST since, well, 41001 rolled off the production line, and is still in charge of it today. Every time you stop safely at the blocks at St Pancras or King's Cross, or indeed Paddington. Mr. Ron Wally.
Well, good morning. I'm shocked to have to do this because I just got a phone call last night and I was told that I had to make a speech. I've got to be slightly schizophrenic because I speak on two parts really. One, first of all, as the operations director of the GCRN, I would like to thank you all for supporting this event on behalf of GCRN, and also congratulate the gentlemen from the 125 group for their organisation and hard work. It's not just happened, it's been in the planning for a long time. Although we're celebrating 40 years of HST in service, I can recall probably 8 years before that being summoned to Derby as a very, very young, very junior electrical engineer with a firm from Stockport, Davison Metcalfe, to be told about a fleet of trains that was going to be built. The locomotives would pull passenger trains at 125 miles an hour in the daytime and probably pull even coal trains at night, which is why if you look on the prototype one, it's got a cab at both ends. One of the problems was that with conventional techniques, they thought although they could get the speed up, they couldn't stop it in existing signalling distances, and there's no money available to move any signals, so what could we do about it? I had the temerity and the naivety, I think at the time, to suggest it could be done using electronics, and was nearly burnt as a heretic for the privilege. Needless to say, I could talk about the technicalities of it for days, but time doesn't permit that. All I need to say is I was very privileged to be involved with HST from day one. I'm very surprised in a way that they're still running about in daily service when I think they were really designed for something like a 15-year stopgap. It'll be very interesting to see whether their replacements will still be running about in 40 years' time. And I shan't be here to see it, but I don't think anybody else will actually see them last that long. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Well done HSTs, 40 years on, long may it continue.
Thank you very much, Ron. And last but by no means least at all, we have a gentleman here who was the HST commissioning engineer and probably knows more about 001 than even I do. Mr. Greg Lilliker.
Thank you. Good morning. It is a great pleasure to be here. And I shall not talk about production trains, I'll talk about the prototype. There were certain lessons learned, which means that it was of great value. Sometimes a prototype is built and quickly discarded. But if you listen to this list of things that were achieved as a result of running the prototype around, you appreciate we couldn't have managed without it. First of all was the brake performance, which Ron Wallis just mentioned. Until we could demonstrate that it would stop from 125 in the same distance that an ordinary train took from 100, then they wouldn't spend, British Railways wouldn't spend any money on upgrading the track and all the other things they had to do. They certainly hadn't got the money for re-signalling. The next lesson we learned was the size of the cooler group. Poor performance of the turbochargers meant that more heat had to be dissipated into the cooler group. In hot weather it was almost certain to overheat. As my colleague said on a hot day, it's not a question shall we overheat, just a question of when. The next lesson was about the auxiliary electrical system, both on the power cars and the train, on the trailer cars. It was clear that trains would have to complete long journeys with leading power cars shut down. In fact, we showed that you couldn't come back from Edinburgh to Leeds and rely on the battery capacity. Certain things began to fail, like the AWS. And it was Bob Bradley, I believe, who was the chief DM&E electrical engineer, who probably told Ron Wally about his electronics scheme, because he was a rather bear-like figure whose aim in life was to frighten people, I think. Get out of my office. He devised a system which is now used on the production trains, which did away with the unreliable motor alternator sets on the coaches, enabled a working power car to keep the defective one operational all day if necessary, provided it got the fuel. Another lesson we learned was the cab air conditioning. We hadn't got it, of course. It was a simple Bob Bradley fan motor somewhere in the nose, which didn't have great output, and on hot days it was uncomfortably warm, and there's not much you could do about it because ambient air was going past so fast that it wouldn't come into the door drop lights. Hence a full air conditioning system was necessary. Another thing that was done was to demonstrate the risks to track workers. A demonstration of structural sectional councils and other representatives in June 73 enabled these people to observe the approach of a train at full speed. It was found that the horns were not loud enough, which you've heard today. They're much louder. In fact, I'm thinking there's a speed switch which brings in the loud noise at speed. It was also clear that headlamps were vital to the people on the track site in these trains. There was a slight hiccup there because when the styling of the front end was considered, it was obvious 2 lamps would be best, one each side, whereas the operators wanted just one. Another little problem we had was that the control jumpers between the trailer cars were at a high level. You had to use a ladder or scrum on the step boards. It was difficult and even dangerous. The decision to have separate fleets for HSTs and local hauled meant that the HSTs could have fixed head jumpers rather than couplers, rather than drop head. Thus the 36-way jumpers could be mounted beneath the couplers. And I'm sure there are many other little points could be taken. Is it my duty, pleasant duty now to pull this off? Let's see what we've got behind.
Lovely, thank you very much. So that's it. Thank you very much indeed for coming. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Dig deep in your pockets for the railway children. They'll be coming around with buckets. There is a raffle, I believe, with many fantastic prizes. And as I say, enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you very much.